We got married in Italy, the most beautiful country to start the rest of our lives. Felt like it went by in a blink. The moment was a dream, and I'm here to share all of it, the good and the bad. There's tea, and I'm going to spill it. So, for anyone new here, hi, welcome to my channel. I'm Danielle Denise, and also welcome to my digital diary. Today, I'm going to be recapping one of the best days of my life, my wedding in Italy. I had never been to Italy before, and I decided, let's get married there. Sight unseen. Let's just do that. We pretty much decided early on that we didn't want to do the big spectacle wedding, the big 200 plus people. We're putting on a show for you. We're not going to enjoy our wedding because we're trying to make sure you enjoy the wedding. That wasn't for us. We also considered eloping, just the two of us at the courthouse, which legally we also had to do. Check out a couple pictures here in our matching sweatsuits, because it was just too much work to go to Italy, go to the embassy, do all that. But we decided to keep it intimate, keep it small, and the setting, a country we've never been to before. Why not? That's our style. Banking on having a wedding in a country you've never been to before, of course there would be some hiccups. So I will definitely tell you about those. And I'll even give you some budget info. I'm going to make a whole video actually about the entire budget and things that you should look out for or consider when doing something like this, especially planning a wedding in a country you've never been to, talking to planners who you've only talked to over Zoom for an entire year and a half. But today, I want to relive the most beautiful experience with you that made it all so worth it. I'm going to walk through what it looked like, what it felt like, the moments I'll never forget. And yes, again, a few things didn't go as planned because this is real life. We're going to talk about all of it. So we arrived in Italy a couple days before the wedding, and we drove about an hour outside of Venice to our wedding venue, Castelbrando, the most beautiful little castle in the tiniest little town. It was in the Prosecco Hills. Yes, the Prosecco Hills. We spent that first day just overlooking the grounds, thinking, wow, this place is absolutely beautiful on its own. If the wedding is even just as half as beautiful as the setting was itself, it was going to be a great wedding. It was going to be a great experience. And their spa, beautiful, amazing, so relaxing. You're overlooking the town. It was absolutely breathtaking. And that night before is when the butterflies set in. We were really getting married in a country we had never been to before. And thank goodness we didn't get scammed for the most part, because the wedding actually happened. It was really there. I could not be more grateful for the people who showed up and flew all the way out there. We love this group of people. Like, we appreciate you guys so much. So, day of the wedding, we're excited, we're hungry, we're excited, and I'm just replaying in my mind everyone's words of wisdom that the day goes by so fast that you just want to sit and take it all in. So throughout the day, I'm trying to be mindful. Yes, I'm a psych NP and I have to practice what I preach. Live in the present moment, spending time at breakfast with family, my husband. And I think that's the beauty of an intimate wedding like that, is I got to interact with everyone so much throughout those couple of days. After breakfast, by the time I knew it, it was time to get ready. And that process was lengthy. I had one hair and makeup artist just for myself because I didn't have a bridal party. Everybody who would have been in the bridal party, they were there. I could tell that my hair and makeup artist was getting a bit stressed. She did share with me that she was under a time crunch that the planners put her on because they wanted to set aside time for filming and photography. We started at like 9 a.m. The wedding didn't start till 4. Maybe I underestimated, but I thought we were making good timing. I just want to say that I appreciate her and I'm so grateful for her making me feel like the most beautiful version of myself at a time where she was very stressed. The ceremony itself was so beautiful. It's me, my husband, our favorite people, and my mom was the officiant. Of course, I was crying before I even got down there. I was crying all the way down the steps, down the aisle. There was just so much gratitude and love. I cried all that makeup off. I cried actually before I got down to walk out for the ceremony because I heard the violinist and harpist playing the song that they didn't even confirm with me if they would be able to use that song for my walk. And I'm just like, it was way too beautiful. I remember standing there across from my husband thinking, we did it. We're here. We chose each other. We chose this place. This was worth it. And here's where I just want to take the time to address the whole idea that we didn't want this really big ceremony of like 200 plus people, because it could have gotten there, because there was even a point where we were going beyond elopement. If we were to do this big ceremony and even keeping it here in the US, like how many people would be expected to have an invite? And that would be so many people. The thought of it just made me overwhelmed. But we did get to a point where we narrowed it down to about like 75 people, and we were still thinking like that might not be the right fit for this. It just didn't feel right to us. We really wanted it like immediate family, and there are some friends to us who are just like family, and we could not imagine not having them there with us. So that's how we got down to under 30. I mean, for a bit it was a little over, but some people dropped out, and that's totally normal, especially with destination weddings. But I just want to make it clear, it wasn't our intent to exclude people. It was our intent to do what felt right for us at the time, and that's what was most important. After the ceremony, we spent time capturing some beautiful pictures with our family, and then with just myself and my husband. And by the time we got back, it was the end of Aperitivo, or cocktail hour, and we caught the tail end of some amazing food that was spread. Everybody was like, we are so full. I and my husband, we were just like grabbing everything we could, and then they brought us a platter of more food for us to try all of our small bites. It was so good. We were like, if the dinner is as good as this, we're not ready. We also did not know that the dinner was multiple courses. It was at least like 10 courses, and they were not moving on without us. And they were also giving us seconds, thirds, fourths. They eat, please. It was like going over to like your Nona's house, who just also happens to live in a castle with a bunch of prepared staff members who had endless amounts of food that was so delicious. Our planners were right in that aspect, that when they said, don't worry, you're in Italy, you're going to eat, and you're going to eat good. It was delicious. And bottomless wine. They didn't even let my glass go empty, not once. Red wine, white wine, Jamaican wine. We didn't even know we were going to have flambe. We also didn't know that for our cake cutting, they still gave us the cold sparks. Our venue did not allow in-air fireworks, but a compromise was the opportunity to have cold sparks, which were, the little boxes of flames that you can actually like put your hand through and not get burned, which is really cool. But that was amazing. And we cut our cake with a sword. We were just having all types of fun. And we made the traditional dessert. I'll leave it on the screen. And we got to make that together and serve that to our guests. It was absolutely amazing. Actually, I think they said that they were gifting the cold sparks to us, because I did not see it on our final budget spreadsheet. Again, check that next video. Make sure you're subscribed for that. And I thought that was a pretty kind trade. Last, but certainly not least, the after party. Again, this is when the DJ took creative authority and played his own music. It was very much top 40, but the fog, the lights, the music, everything, and the fact that we were in a cave in the castle, that set things off right. That was good. That was good. We also spent some time at the after party just walking through the cave, going through the tunnels that were connected to other parts of the castle. Apparently, the former king of the castle had trap doors from one of his bedrooms to bring in and move around some mistresses. So we got to walk those halls and tunnels and end up in one restaurant, even though we came from a cave on the different side of the castle, and it was really freaking cool. Now, can I be real? It wouldn't be a wedding without some drama, right? And some people may think this isn't the worst thing that could happen at a wedding, but I think in combination with what happened with our makeup artist and what I'm about to tell you went down between our photographer and videographer, I feel like some exclusion going on, a little ostracizing between the Italians and our photographer, who's from America, and my hair and makeup artist, who is from London. I don't know if the exclusion was that they weren't Italian or that they hadn't worked with this team before, but that's where I think a lot of the drama and a lot of my disappointment came from in our wedding team. And even though I could tell they weren't trying to let me know about it, I think reading the room is also a very big thing, especially with someone who works in psych like myself. I'm picking up on things. And not only just reading the room, but just having to find out about it later. To know that my younger brother in law caught the makeup artist crying, to know that my photographer overheard the videographer and other members of the wedding planning team talking crap about her in Italian, not knowing that she knew some Italian. BFFR. Everything else I would say was very professional, very kind, very sweet. But was that just surface level? Our photographer and videographer were fighting essentially to get the shot. There were pictures our photographer showed us where the videographers weren't even recording anything. They were just standing in her way of getting the shot. And I think vice versa, because she's like, you want to play this game? Let's play it. I'm so grateful that they caught the shots. I just am sad that they had that kind of tension. I was so grateful to have my makeup artist there, especially with her being another Black woman in a setting that I was so worried like no one would get the vision that I wanted. And again, that's something else that happened in the planning is like I brought a makeup artist that I found on social media to my planners and they were like, no, we're not doing that. You don't do that. And I mean, they made a good pick with who they chose, but I was like, damn me for trying to not look crazy at my own wedding. But just knowing that the non-Italians were not in the clique, it was pretty sad. I didn't like that. That was a negative. The DJ played music from playlists we made for him to show what we wanted to hear. He played it directly from his iPad for the opening of the ceremony, the cocktail hour, the dinner. At the dinner, we heard some of the same songs 3 times. 3 times. I had to keep getting up and saying, "Hey, can you come change it just to some ambiance music, something else, please." And let me just end on this note. I was being weird when we first met them because I thought, what if we are getting scammed talking to people over Zoom for a year and a half, sending them boatloads of money, and we've never met them? Yeah, so I had some reservations. Anybody would, right? That's sensible. But they were very sweet. They were very kind. In moments where there were some tensions between us, I think that ultimately they made the vision come to life. And I say all that to say, what a wonderful experience. Something that I, my family, our friends will remember forever. And if you're thinking about a destination wedding, specifically in Italy, you don't want to miss out on my next video. That's going to be really helpful for you to guide your planning and decide on what you want to splurge on, what you want to save on. I'm going to break down everything in that video, my whole spreadsheet. For me now, I say it was worth every penny. I just wish I could have been like the people on TikTok that are like, I only spent $5,000 for my destination wedding in Italy. But that was not the case for us. But for today, I just wanted to share our amazing pre-party, wedding day, and after party. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And if you're new here, subscribe. We have so much more coming. We have that budget video that I mentioned, and we use Costco Travel's luxury branch to plan our honeymoon. You don't want to miss it. So make sure you're subscribed. And if you watched all the way to the end, be sure to drop a comment down below. Let me know if you were to have a destination wedding video, where would you have it? I'll be talking to you down there. And until next time, I'll see you. Bye.